Κυρίες και κύριοι, καλημέρα σας από την πανέμορφη λίμνη του Αγίου Νικολάου, εδώ στην πρωτεύουσα, στον Άγιο Νικόλαο, όπου θα παρακολουθήσουμε την τρίτη και τελευταία ημέρα του Παγκοσμίου Κυπέλου για το SUP. Σήμερα έχουμε το τρίτο και τελευταίο αγώνισμα της φετινής διοργάνωσης, αυτό του long distance, δηλαδή της μεγάλης απόστασης σε ανοιχτή θάλασσα. 125 αθλητές, άντρες και γυναίκες όλων των κατηγοριών και ηλικιών θα διαγωνιστούν για μία θέση στο βάθρο σε 13,5 χιλιόμετρα για την ακρίβεια. Η απόσταση θα είναι από την παραλία της Πλάκας στην Ελούντα, με τερματισμό εδώ ακριβώς που στέκομαι με φόντο την λίμνη του Αγίου Νικολάου. Ο πρώτος αθλητής υπολογίζεται να χρειαστεί περίπου 2 ώρες για να μπορέσει να τερματίσει τον αγώνα του και θα ακολουθήσει ο κάθε επόμενος. Ο αγώνας ξεκίνησε πριν από περίπου 1 λεπτό με 2 από την Πλάκα. Ο καιρός, από ό,τι έχουμε μάθει, είναι ευνοϊκός προς τους αθλητές. Παρ' όλα αυτά, με τη βοήθεια του σκηνοθέτη μας του Σταύρου του Βρέτζου και των εικονοληπτών θα έχουμε μία πλήρης εικόνα από 2 κάμερες οι οποίες θα ακολουθούν τους αθλητές, αλλά και drone. Μιλάμε, η παραγωγή έχει ξεπεράσει τα όρια της και θα γίνει ένας χαμός. So, ladies and gentlemen, good morning from AGIOS NIKOLAOS on the third and last day of the World Cup of SUP for 2024. All the athletes have started 2 or 3 minutes ago from the beach of Plaka in Elούντα, and they are about to. The first athlete is about to finish here where I'm standing right now in the beautiful lake of AGIOS NIKOLAOS in about 2 hours. 125 athletes are participating and wanted to gain access to one of 3 stands in the podium. The weather is clear, it's everything fine, as has been said to us. With the help of our director, Stavros Vrendous, and all the cameramans, we will have a live feed from the whole race with 2 cameras and 1 drone. So we will keep you updated all through the live. The first athlete, as I said, it will take approximately 2 hours to finish his race, and I'm going to take my place to the van, so I will have the live feed and I will keep you updated with everything. Σήμερα μαζί μου θα έχω και μια βοήθεια από 3 πολύ καλούς φίλους, οι οποίοι αυτή τη στιγμή βρίσκονται στην Αμερική. Είναι 3 Αμερικάνοι φίλοι μας, είναι ο Ρομπ, ο Άνταμ και ο Ματ, τους οποίους θα τους γνωρίσουμε αργότερα. Οι 3 αυτοί γνώστες του αντικειμένου, πολύ έμπειροι παρουσιαστές, θα είναι και οι παρουσιαστές τους οποίους έχει καλέσει η Παγκόσμια Ομοσπονδία Κανόε Καγιάκ για να παρουσιάσουν το επόμενο παγκόσμιο πρωτάθλημα, το οποίο θα είναι στη Φλόριντα των Ηνωμένων Πολιτειών. Today with me I'll have a company. I will not be alone. I will have 3 really good friends from America, Rob, Matt and Adam. We will get to know them better in a few minutes. Those 3 guys will take place and host the next World Cup or World Championship. I'm not sure, if correct me if I'm wrong, in Florida of the United States, after this in AGIOS NIKOLAOS. Όλα όπως δείχνουν να έχουν ξεκινήσει πάρα πολύ ωραία. Εγώ θα μεταφερθώ, όπως είπα και πριν, στο van για να μπορέσω να συνεχίσω την αναμετάδοση και να γνωρίσω και τους 3 φίλους μας από την Αμερική. Θα σας κρατάμε ενήμερους καθ' όλη τη διάρκεια των αγώνων, για να μπορείτε να βλέπετε τα σημεία τα οποία περνάνε οι αθλητές, όλη τη διαδικασία την οποία ακολουθείτε, καθώς και την πορεία αυτών. Αυτή τη στιγμή μέσω του drone μας έχουμε μια πάρα πολύ όμορφη εικόνα από την Σπίνα Λόγκα. Ο αγώνας έχει ξεκινήσει εδώ και 5 λεπτά, όπως μπορείτε να δείτε και στο χρονόμετρό σας πάνω δεξιά, στο πάνω δεξιά μέρος της οθόνης. Βλέπουμε οι άντρες έχουν ξεκινήσει, οι γυναίκες θα ξεκινήσουν στα επόμενα 5 λεπτά. Έτσι είναι και ο κανονισμός. Ξεκινάνε πρώτα οι άντρες αθλητές όλων των κατηγοριών και 10 λεπτά μετά την εκκίνησή τους ξεκινάνε και οι γυναίκες. So now you had a really beautiful image from our drone with Spinalonga, the famous island here in a small island that used to be a hospital for daycare in 1920s and till 1950s. And we can see now all the athletes. What I'm going to say is that you now have almost 6 minutes of the race, and all the men athletes have already started. As the rule said, all the men athletes started 6 minutes ago. Now you can see the feed that I was saying about Spinalonga, and in 4 minutes from now, the women athletes will start their race. They will have a distance of 10 minutes, the men from the women. And as I can see, the weather is really clear. The first athletes has already started to form a line. That's how it's used to be. The first athlete, the strongest athlete, leads the ride, and all the others are behind them. Everything is gonna change, of course, because don't forget it's a 2 hours race. Βλέπουμε λοιπόν στην κάμερα μας ότι οι αθλητές έχουν ήδη ξεκινήσει να σχηματίζουν μια γραμμή. Ο πρώτος αθλητής συνήθως οδηγεί της κούρσας, καθώς αυτό όμως δεν μπορεί να είναι και ένας παράγοντας σιγουριάς, διότι δεν ξεχνάμε ότι μιλάμε για μια κούρσα 2 ωρών, το οποίο σημαίνει ότι πάρα πολλά πράγματα μπορούν να αλλάξουν σε λίγο. Θα έχουμε και καλύτερη εικόνα, να μπορέσουμε να δούμε ποιος ηγείται της κούρσας, ποιοι αθλητές είναι μπροστά, ούτως ώστε να μπορέσουμε να έχουμε και μια καλύτερη απάντηση για εσάς. Πάρα πολύ όμορφη εκκίνηση. Οι γυναίκες μόλις ξεκίνησαν μαζί με τις γυναίκες έχουν ακολουθήσει. Βλέπετε αυτή τη στιγμή την εκκίνηση των γυναικών στην ίδια κατηγορία. Έχουν ακολουθήσει και τα αγόρια αλλά και τα κορίτσια κάτω των 18. Οι δύο δηλαδή κατηγορίες underage. We have already, as you can see, in 8 minutes, almost 10, as I said, women have started the race, passing from the beach of Plaka, and with them, with the category of women, has started already the 2 categories of boys and girls under 18. So everything started normally as we getting the information from the coaches and the organizations and everyone. So I would like to welcome with me the 3 guys that I talked about them earlier. It's our friends Rob, Matt, and Adam. Guys, can you hear me?
Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
We can hear you.
Good morning, guys. Great to have
Good
you
morning.
with
Hey,
us.
everybody. Not sure if I'm on here. Stavros, can you give us some feedback if you can hear us?
So we have everything running good, guys. We can hear and we'll see you shortly in our monitors, so we can welcome you in the beautiful island of Crete. I know that it's a little bit difficult for you guys to be right now here because it's really early in the morning for you, as I can assume 7 hours behind, right?
Yeah, that's right. Hey, good morning, world. And this is a huge shout out. We're super psyched to be here. I've got Marios leading the way, and Marios, thank you for those great introductions. We've got Matt Jones on the camera here, along with Adam Tischler. You guys might see a glimpse of us later here, but we're going to be excited to help you guys bring this live action. You can see these paddlers in front of you right now, all making their first buoy turn. They've got 13.5K to go in Crete, Greece. And there we are. Good morning, world. We hope, well, it's morning for you guys somewhere.
Good morning, guys. Good evening for you.
This is an amazing long distance race that we're about to see. Adam, I'd like to turn it over to you and Matt right now, maybe to give us a highlight of some people to start looking for and who we might see here today following these mics and some big players that are poised to maybe be on the podium.
Yeah, I'll jump in right out of the gate. First of all, beautiful drone shots to kick off this broadcast. These are great shots we're looking at too. Right out of the gate, we could see one thing is very different from last year for this race, which last year was a pretty burly downwinder, plenty of breeze. You can see it's just about dead flat for this edition, which is an unusual phenomenon for this race. So we're going to see some real strategic racing. I believe we saw Blue Ewer out in front with Tasso Surius in second place, leading out a draft train of about 10 guys. We haven't quite picked up the women yet, but we would think that probably Alba Frey, who just had a great showing at a race recently in Copenhagen, will be one of the top women contenders as well. So we know we have some favorites, but given that the conditions are so different from a AGIOS NIKOLAOS race that we've become accustomed to, which is typically a great downwind race, it's going to be a fun one to watch. And Matt, flat water, high temperatures, mid 80s or so. What does that spell for these guys? This is going to be strategy and draft heavy, I would imagine.
Yeah, to your point, Rob, I think this is going to be a pretty hot strategic race. You can already see this is Blue Ewer up front. Tassos, our Greek favorite, on the infinity board, kind of side drafting him there. Looks like a pack of maybe 4 or 5 guys with a couple kind of scrapping to hang on there. And in a race this flat, this is definitely where these guys really don't want to lose touch with that front pack.
Now, guys, sorry for interrupting, but as you can see, I want to tell you something about the image that you're looking right now. In the background of the image, you can see the Spinalog Island that I was talking about earlier. Do you know the history of this island? Do you have ever heard about this island? Have you ever heard about this island? Do you know what is it?
Tell us.
Gorgeous island.
It's a gorgeous island in the Gulf of Mirabello in AGIOS NIKOLAOS, and it used to be as I said, a hospital island, and a whole community was developed inside this island, and is a leper colony from 1903 till 1955, and all the men and women that was that had the leper illness was kept in there because they thought that it was bad for all the other communities to be in touch with them, so they were just living there for more than 50 years, past the World War II, of course, and it's a really big monument for UNESCO to have here in AGIOS NIKOLAOS. And I want to say something about that, so I'm going back to you. I'll be the historian for today, and you will be the sport event guys that know fancy stuff about athletes that I don't know. So I will interrupt you to say my things, if that's okay.
Well, speaking of isolation, it looks like Tassos and Blue are about to pull away and put themselves on their own island from the rest of the draft pack. This is a pretty critical moment here.
Yeah, we have Tassos heading in front, and I will try to see the next athlete.
It's almost certainly Blue Ewer.
Pretty impressive right now. There's essentially a 12-person draft train. But they've got just that 4 board length difference right behind that. Everybody's trying to bridge that gap right now.
And strategy-wise, these top 2 guys, if they get away, that's great. But even if they don't, they're forcing the 10 guys behind them to expend a huge amount of energy. And you can see by these front 2 guys accelerating a little bit, they've completely blown apart the draft train behind them, and people have just scattered. So even if people do get back to them, it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of energy to get back there.
Και για να...
Matt, one of the
What do
things
you
I'm
think?
looking for here is to see if anyone gets organized in a draft train behind them. This is always early in a race. Everyone's still thinking every man for himself typically. If they get organized here early, they might be able to stick with Blue and Tassos. But you can see that Tassos and Blue are kind of working a side draft here, which makes getting onto their draft a little bit more turbulent than you might otherwise like. But here's someone trying to bridge across now.
Yeah, great point, Adam. You know, they're in an interesting spot there, trying to paddle up and over to paddlers' wakes behind them is a tough place to catch people. I think another interesting thing this morning, to your point, Adam, about there being no wind here for the first time ever, is board choice. We'll see if anybody had the option to maybe switch to a flat water board and how that plays out for the race as it proceeds.
And now, guys, I'm going to interrupt you again to translate all the beautiful things that we already said in Greek, because we have to do it, even though it's a World Cup, we still have to translate it in Greek. So give me 2 minutes and I'll be back to you. Κυρίες και κύριοι, βλέπουμε αυτή τη στιγμή ο αγώνας έχει κανονικότατα ξεκινήσει και για τους άντρες και για τις γυναίκες. Έχουμε στην δεξιά μας οθόνη την κούρσα των ανδρών, οι οποίοι προπορεύονται των γυναικών, καθώς όμως δεν είναι δύσκολο να δούμε και τις γυναίκες οι οποίες βρίσκονται ακόμα λίγο πιο πίσω. Στο πίσω μέρος της οθόνης μας βλέπουμε την πανέμορφη Σπιναλόγκα, η οποία, για όσους δεν γνωρίζουν, για τους οποίους όσους δεν γνωρίζουν, ήταν ένα λεπροκομείο από το 1909 έως το 1957 και φιλοξενούσε όλους τους ασθενείς που είχαν νοσήσει με την νόσο του Χάνσεν. Ένα πανέμορφο μνημείο της UNESCO, το οποίο βρίσκεται, είναι τιμή μας που βρίσκεται στην περιοχή μας. Και στην άλλη πλευρά της εικόνας βρίσκουμε τις γυναίκες. Η μάχη φαίνεται να είναι σώμα με σώμα στους πρώτους αθλητές, με αποτέλεσμα να έχουμε μια πολύ γρήγορη πρώτη κατάταξη, με τον Τάσο Τσούρη να βρίσκεται μπροστά, τον Έλληνα αθλητή, να προπορεύεται αυτή των ανδρών, καθώς και σε λίγα λεπτά θα μπορούμε να έχουμε και μια καλύτερη εικόνα για την κατάταξη των γυναικών και για τις αθλήτριες τις οποίες έχουν ξεκινήσει. Νομίζω ότι ήρθε η ώρα να γυρίσουμε πίσω στους τρεις φίλους μας από την Αμερική. Guys, I have already translated as I like, of course, what you said and the things that I understood. So we're back to you.
All right, thanks for sending us back. We're definitely starting to get, if you guys are looking at the split screen here, you can see the females as well. We're just trying to pick up some bib numbers and get you some names there. Adam and Matt, what have you guys figured out so far?
Well, right when Marios started translating, hopefully making us sound smarter than we actually are in Greek, you could see that a draft train started to form in the men's race. We're beginning to get a sense of the women here. It looks like the lead women, looks like a draft train was forming there. Matt, one of the things I'm seeing is with the boats, distant boats, is the water is so still, but it is still sort of mounding up. So boat weight could come into play. We've got, what, a 13K course, so it's a lot of flat water to cover, and random boat weight could play a role today, especially as people are trying to chase down a leading pack or perhaps break away from a pack.
Yeah, great point, Adam. I think, in a day like today where there are so few conditions and so many fit paddlers, it is tough to break away. And we see here on the men's side, still Blue and Tassos out front, and it looks like a group of guys has made contact with them again. So we can already see how tough it is going to be to drop paddlers behind you. Hopefully we don't see boat weight become like a deciding factor in who wins, but it for sure could become a tactical usage to try to drop a few guys behind you at certain parts of the race. And on the right side there, it looks like we're seeing some of the mid-pack women. I got an eye on Amandine a few minutes ago. I saw Katniss from the U.S. on an Infinity sitting in a draft train of about 3 women. We'll see if we can get a look at who's... this looks like maybe Alba, actually, here. Number 9 on the starboard here on our right side.
As I can see with the men... no, it's a boy. It's a boy. As I said, all the boys and girls underage have started with the women. So they're racing in the same category right now. in the left, in the right screen.
Yeah, and you can see they're taking it nice and easy, at least out at the start. This does not look like a harried pace. I'm wondering if the athletes, if just feeling the heat, seeing the conditions, are going to maybe wait to make moves. If you didn't break early, make a move a little bit later. Perhaps, Matt, they are going to wait for an opportune moment with some wake or another moment on the course to make a move. But that does not look like Alba at a real high pace for her.
Yeah, I agree. And that makes me think that maybe she doesn't have anybody on her tail. If she's sitting off to the side of the junior boys there, just kind of setting her own pace, nice and comfortable. She's a really strong paddler, and she doesn't really need to rush this race. She knows she has a great sprint finish, so as long as she gets to the finish line fresh, she should be feeling pretty confident.
Man, that's a
Rob,
fantastic drone shot right there.
Yeah.
Next year, we definitely need to be here. And if you're not in Crete right now, you should be, because it looks absolutely gorgeous.
It's
pretty awesome that we're getting these great drone shots already.
We're blessed from the God because as all the other world, we have winter, spring, autumn, summer. But here in Greece and especially in Crete, we are using, as I want to say, only two of them. We are not only using winter and summer, and we have 6 months of each. And now it's almost September finished. We're heading to October, and you can still see how clear are the waters. The sun is shining bright, and even though I'm not a really big fan of swimming, because I don't really like the sports, let's be honest, I want to jump on and go with them. Of course, not in 13.5 Ks, because I will not be able to finish.
Marios, you're more than welcome to jump on a paddleboard any day. You got this.
Sure that I
it looks
got
like
it.
Hey, Marius, you might have to help my the name here. It looks like that's Kyriaki Legoteti.
Yep.
Greek paddler. It looks like she's near the pack with Alba right now, but it's hard to tell exactly where Alba is relative to this group.
Trying to figure it out, me too. So I'm heading back to you with the names. Yes, she's there with the Greek.
Looks like there's looks like a line of junior men kind of splitting Alba and our female Greek paddler here.
Yeah, and then looking at the left side of the screen here. Go ahead, Rob.
Let's talk about boards and who's on what board, so everybody who's watching might be able to get a peek of who they're watching here, especially in the men's right now on that left screen.
Yeah, Matt, great. I'm going to defer to you. You're a bigger board nerd than I am.
Yeah, so up front here on the left side, looks like Blue Ewer still on the NSP board with a dark blue nose. And to his left, our right, will be Tassos on the Infinity Ever Ready with the bright orange nose. And still tough to get a sense of who it is right behind them. Can't get a view of the bib numbers. It looks like a P and Infinity boards behind him.
Guys, you're going to have to give us just a smidge of leeway here. We are watching the same exact screens you guys are, but amazing photography that we're already getting. We're going to be following the men and women, all 13K, and we're just getting warmed up. So get ready for Matt and Adam to wake up. Well, Adam's been awake. Me and Matt just woke up. That it looks like we got a crash and a board backwards in that heat there. But we're going to be having some fun with you guys today, and we hope that you will hang on and watch this race. We're going to be trying to talk strategy. We're going to try to talk everything that these guys are doing, especially human physiology, who they're fighting with, and really why they're doing this, because this is a World Cup event that is going to help them be seated in the World Championship. Not only that, but just the glory of this great race as it's been for many years.
Guys, I want to say,
this is prime.
Guys,
go ahead.
guys, sorry, but I want to say that we have two races today. One is the long distance, and the other one is Stavros, that he's racing with all the cameras and the live feed. And you have to see him right now. He's He's really. I will send you a photo on the WhatsApp. He's now anxious and shouting to everybody because he knows how to do his job, and he wants to give us the best shots for both women and men in the drone, and he's really trying with his sons to take the feed. I want to say this to you. So we can see right now Tassos heading in front, and you was gonna say something about the strategies, or I understand you wrong?
No, absolutely, Marios. Thanks. And yeah, it's always such a joy to watch really good footage from these races, especially from a beautiful setting. Like, yeah, and you can see this is Blue and Tassos out in front. It looks this camera angle makes it look like the rest of the pack is a little closer. Well, there you go. They have, it looks like at least 30 meters on that chase pack. And the chase pack does not look particularly well organized. And here's one of those boat wakes. And these guys, I think they see it and they're hopping on it. They're going to try to use this to gap everybody.
Yeah, it looks like there was a kind of a train of 5 guys sitting behind them. And then to your point, Adam, these guys, little acceleration to just jump onto a boat wake. And that bumps your speed up just that much more, which blows the draft train apart behind them and makes it all that harder to get them back. So we'll see that maybe could be the race here.
Yeah, Matt, it looks like Blue put in a bit there too. You could see it. It's, again, difficult to tell from this angle. It's a very cool. Blue hopped on one of those little bumps and put about a board length between him and Tassos. And you can see Tassos is choked down now. He knows that if he loses Blue here, it's going to be a very long day. Worked hard to get it back in the draft. Blue, it looks like it might still be maybe a board length. It's hard to tell from here. Blue is obviously watching. He is trying to put pressure on Tassos. Tassos is clearly aware of the danger right here.
Definitely. And it looks like, hard to tell, but it looks like they're starting to come through this narrow passage that they come through a few K into the race.
Guys, now we're passing,
ocean opens up.
just to let you know, now we're passing through the canal of Elunda, between Plaka and Elunda. This is a canal that is connecting the two parts of the island, because actually the island is, itself has been corrupted in two places. So as you can see, this little bridge is connecting the two parts of the island from Elunda to Plaka, and it continues, as you can see on the right hand right now, those wine miles and beautiful cafes by the sea. It's a really beautiful place to run. I know that you have been participated in Thailand or Poland or other big countries, but it's really beautiful here.
Marios, this is one of my favorite landmarks in all of SUP racing. This is such a cool spot. Every year that this race is run, I always look forward to this moment, and you can see why. It's a really cool. You go from open sea essentially into a little channel.
So now these guys have made it through the canal. They're back here. The ocean's going to start to open up for them. On their left side will be open ocean. Looks like Blue's making a cut here through some boat wake here to try to find some cleaner water. Tassos looks like he's sitting on a little bump there. And wow, yeah, what a beautiful place to have a race. Next year when we get out there, we'll have to have a little coffee on the side of the canal here while we watch the race go by.
Marios, we'll set up the broadcast headquarters from that bridge.
It's really beautiful, right? Have you ever came to Greece or Crete?
Sadly, no.
It's a beautiful place.
It's on the list now. And so this is Alba Frey we're seeing here. This will be the front of the women's race.
Yeah, that looked like Alba was joined by, and I think that was Kariaki. We'll have to see if we can get a bib number on there, but she had company, it looked like, and I don't think that was one of the junior men. It's hard to tell. She's got someone right on her tail.
I don't know if you noticed, but we lose the connection of the race, and maybe you will see me.
I think you're right, Adam. That's the nose of her Sonova board there. And we hope it's not one of the junior boys, because they shouldn't be drafting her anyway. So let's say that it is.
Now, who are you watching
Oh,
on
there
your
she
monitors?
is. Oh, that does look like one of our junior boys, actually.
Yeah.
Maybe two.
Me? Who are you looking at? Because we lost a bit of
It looks
connection.
like Marios, we've lost your mic.
No, my mic is on. Can you see me?
Alba, she's looking comfortable here. You know, she's putting in a really good pace, but she's top of her game right now, fresh off of a bunch of big wins, and she looks like she's just setting a nice, comfortable pace. Doesn't want to expend too much energy in the heat, so she doesn't run the risk of bonking later in the race. And if she doesn't have any women around her, she really doesn't need to do more than this for now. So we'll see how long she can just cruise along, or if she gets forced to do something drastic at some point.
Yeah, Matt, it's when it's this flat, what are you doing as an athlete to conserve your energy here? Maybe a better way to think about it is, are you better off trying to burn hot early, or hold for later in case you need to turn on the afterburners, or is that an athlete by athlete choice?
Man, that's a great question. I think it's a lot of an athlete by athlete choice for sure. But for someone like Alba with a really great sprint, and we've all been in this situation at the front of a paddling race, or if you haven't, you should sign up and find out for yourself. But it's a high energy start. Everybody gets off the line super quick, but someone as fit as Alba is going to want to settle into her rhythm, focus on just a nice, easy breathing. You can see around her waist there, she's got a Camelback, probably with some nutrition and hydration in it as well. There's a tube running up to her neck, so she can take drinks as often as she can. She's going to be drinking and fueling early and often throughout this race, I would imagine. And the last thing she wants to do is expend too much too early, because at that point, it's just really hard to get it back.
Yeah, she looks incredibly comfortable here.
You know, another thing that many of you may or may not be aware of is most of these athletes just went through 2 full days of sprint racing heats, and they went through technical racing heats here in Greece. So this is their 3rd day of relatively high endurance activity, and that's going to play a role that a lot of them maybe were hoping for some downwind. Not that that's that much easier, but right now they pretty much just have a 13K grind that they're all going into.
See. Yeah, we're looking at a mixed class draft train here. It looks like Alba's made a decision to leave them, which she probably could do pretty easily. She's been racing incredibly well. Rob, as you mentioned, there have been other races, and Alba walked away with the technical race on day 1 of racing, which is probably the closest analog or comparison we have to a distance race, even though they're quite different. She looked very composed and very strong in those.
We're back here on the men's field. Looks like Tassos out front, Blue Ewer sitting on his tail. Got a paddler in 3rd on the NSP board, trying to bridge the gap there and come back in touch with the leaders. And then maybe another group of 4-ish paddlers sitting behind them, trying to make the gap again. Hard to tell from that angle exactly how big it is, but I would guess that it was maybe 7, 8, maybe 10 board lengths back to the chase group.
It seems like they've done a good job of keeping that back pack, not allowing them to catch up right now.
Yeah, Fedon Dukas was wearing a hat during the technical races, but he was on NSP, and I'm wondering if that is who's in 3rd position. We'll have to wait and see if we can grab a number there.
Yes, can you hear me guys right now?
We can hear you.
So the third athlete is Fedon Dukas, a Greek athlete. Fedon Dukas is the 3rd of the men.
Perfect. Well, he's paddling super strong, and it looks like he's making a good push here. We can see on the drone shot on the right side to get back in touch with those front 2 guys. And it's really important that he tries to make that gap now. And Adam, Rob, you guys can speak to this, but this roll of the dice where you try to bridge the gap from one group to the other spends a lot of energy. Maybe you make it, maybe you don't.
Yeah, he's in a really rough spot right here, Matt. I mean, he is right there, probably about 5 board lengths back from these guys. This is one of those things where you probably have to sell out and just burn everything you have to get there and hope you can get a breather once you're on the draft. It's either that or wait for that train to catch you, but clearly he's paddling stronger than the other 4 gentlemen behind him. He just needs to put in an extra effort, and easier said than done. He's probably gassed already for the effort he's put in, but if he could get just about 30 seconds of sprint in, he could probably jump on the draft of these two leaders and really help them distance. And if they could then work together, really distance that next train of four guys who look like they're beginning to get formed and work together.
Great point. On our right side, we see Alba again with this group of junior boys. So maybe, Marius, you can help us out with the rules. Hopefully this doesn't come into effect later on. But I don't see any other women anywhere in shot. So
Yes,
still Alba way out in front on her
Alba
own.
is way out of the other women and trying to figure out the other athletes. I know, I'm pretty sure I know who the athletes are, but I'm waiting for a closer look to confirm it. Is the underage boys that they're heading with Alba, and I don't know what happened to the other women looking for a better shot to understand the situation, because it's really weird for me.
Well, Marius, I'll tell you what happened. They're racing against Alba Frey.
Yeah, but
she's
but
very, very fast.
she's very, very fast. But what happened to the other women?
Not as fast. But it gives you a sense of how she is in really great form. She's been racing incredibly well all season. Had a really good showing in some races in Copenhagen, and of course she's been a dominant force the first 2 days of competition here. It's no surprise that she would be gapping the field already.
Oh my God! It's. Do you know something to tell us about the strategy of the athletes that they're using? Do they have to force all their powers to go in front by the first kilometer or the first 2 or 3 kilometers, or they have to just wait for them to gain some power more and try to push when they're closer to the finish line? What's going on?
Oh, it's a great question. I'm going to let Matt answer while we watch we're going through the canal again now, which I'm going to be quiet and watch, and Matt, you get to talk while I enjoy the scene.
Yeah, this canal is really beautiful. This is on the bucket list of places to paddle for sure. I know, Rob and Adam, you guys feel the same. But Marius, to your question about strategy, it certainly is different for every athlete. And if you ask most of these men and women, it's very situational, right? On the men's side, there's a little bit more of a pack, so they don't want to expend too much energy too early. They want to sit in, maybe work with each other, conserve, maybe play a few games with each other to get a sense of how much energy their competitors have on a certain day and how well they're feeling. On the women's side with Alba today, since there's no one near her, there's no reason for her to expend a huge amount of energy. She just needs to sit in, maintain this pace nice and comfortably. And if any women get near her, then she can make a decision and see what she needs to do strategically, whether she needs to expend more energy or not. But at this point for her, man, look, she's looking perfect technique, super comfortable. Man, what a beautiful place to paddle.
Man,
Yeah.
Matt, it looked like some of these juniors were not overly happy with the boat right there through the canal. That looked like it got pretty stuffy right there. And Alba obviously in that mix as well. I'm sure there were some constraints as how fast that boat could go through the canal without breaking some rules. And these paddlers are not obeying the no wake laws at 6 miles an hour plus.
So now we can see with Alba, we have two men athletes. One is from Italy with the number 53, Giulio Bruciani, and with number 123, it's the athlete from Romania, Matteo Alexandru Barbu. The two guys that with Alba right now. That is with Alba right now.
Thanks, Marios.
And they're paddling super well. If they can stay anywhere near her, I'm really impressed. The junior boys' pace. They've got a great pace going there.
Yeah, and they do look pretty comfortable as well. This is fun. It's always great to watch really good paddlers and get a great view like this. You could just study Alba's stroke for those watching at home. There's so much to envy / replicate for those of us who find ourselves way less efficient than her. But you can see how relaxed she is, and she's just I don't know how fast she is going with current and whatnot, Matt, but she's going fast, and it just doesn't look like she's trying that hard. Of course, there's a ton of energy being output.
Yeah, just a ton of power on every catch. I know Alba was a really high level multi-sport before she even got into paddling. I think only 2 years ago, actually. She was a professional windsurfer amongst other pursuits. So she came into the sport just, an amazingly fit all-around athlete, and it shows just the way she's accelerated to win so many big races early in her paddling career already.
Hey, Matt, at 40 minutes in for our men now, what, especially in mid 80s, flat water, it looks like a breeze is picking up a little bit, but what will they be experiencing? I mean, especially I'm thinking of Phaeton Dukas, who's sort of caught in that no man's land. Well, there he is. You can see him in third place back there, just to the right as we're looking at it on screen of Tassos. What's going on energy wise for them?
Yeah, great question. I think, as you get past 20, 30 minutes through the race, your adrenaline is starting to come down. Reality is starting to set in. You wonder if maybe you spent a little bit too much energy early in the race, or maybe you're feeling pretty confident about your strategy if you're Tassos and Blue up front working together still. If we're 40 minutes in for the men, I'd say we're roughly halfway, maybe not quite. I'd expect these guys to finish somewhere around hour 20, hour 30, depending on what the conditions are doing. Obviously, we're not really sure exactly what the tides and currents are doing here. But, Rob and Adam, you guys can speak to this as well, that it's flat, but it is open ocean still. There's still some choppy water here. As they keep going, we'll see some beautiful sea cliffs on their right side start to come up, and maybe some backwash will come into play too. So there's still a long way to go, that they really can't be overexpending anything yet. They really just need to sit in and be patient for a while.
And Matt, if I remember right, towards the end of this race, I think the way that they're opening up into this area, that a lot of times there's some version of like a side headwind that sometimes will catch them those last couple miles, that these guys are probably pretty aware of, and also wanting to make sure they have the juice to push through that if that does happen.
Definitely. Yeah, in years past where this has been a big downwinder, there's a big left-hand buoy turn later in the race, where that in the past, Rob, you're right, has become like a really brutal sidewind section. But today, I would expect to see the guys really race through that turn, and then maybe the pace start to pick up after they make that turn. But we'll have to wait and see for a little while. But hopefully things will stay pretty exciting as we get down in by the sea cliffs there. That's always been one of my favorite parts of the race, in addition to the canals, of the beautiful cliffs they pass by here. And man, what a beautiful drone shot here of the islands. Marius, can you tell us a bit about what we're seeing here?
So, guys, we just passed the Elunda Hills and the beautiful hotels that they're hosting many tourists all around the whole summer. And now we have in our screen a really good athlete that I really know. She's from Sitia, and it's Nasi Karaindru that she's passed through us right now. And as you can see here, in all the hill are all the big hotels. Elunda Beach, Blue Palace that we passed, Elunda Hills that we passed, Elunda Villas that we passed already. Now, after this hill that you can see on our drone on the right hand, they're starting to coming towards AGIOS Nikolaos. Now you will see shortly the town of AGIOS Nikolaos behind the hill that it's climbing now with a drone.
Yeah, this is
Mario,
a beautiful headlands here.
Yeah.
Matt, this is what you were talking about, I think. This just amazing cliff wall at the headland here. And as Mario said, now we turn, the racers turn here, and you can see the home stretch, and it looks flat. In fact, it looks like just some little bumps, maybe from boats, maybe from wind, kind of rolling in towards the finish line.
Let me tell you guys, Let me tell you guys now that in your left hand that we used to see, it's a really small island. If you seen it, that is a lighthouse and a church on it, nothing else. That in front of the island is the finishing line. It's the beautiful lake Voulismeni of Agios Nikolaos. So all the athletes will go right hill to hill and then go straight to in front of the island, passing in front of the island, and then going back to the lake of Agios Nikolaos. I want the drone, if he can hear us, to give us a look to Agios Nikolaos, so I can explain you better the round, the way that they're going back.
Boy, I tell you what, while we're looking at it too, I mean, you can see how absolutely gorgeous that blue and green water is all through Greece. It's just absolutely phenomenal. If you haven't paddled in Greece or you haven't been there, there's no reason at this point not to put it on your bucket list trip items.
It's like a lake. If you can see, the waters are like a lake. They're not moving at all. They're really clear, and I don't know if this helps the paddlers to be faster. Now you will see the island that I was talking about on the left side of the upper left side of the screen. And then in the left upper side, as I said, it's the right turn that all the athletes gonna have to be inside of the lake Voulismeni in the end of in the middle of the upper side of your screens. This is AGIOS Nikolaos.
So these athletes right now that they've rounded the horn there, they're going back into the bay. There's a red buoy that they all have to catch on the inside of this cove, making a left-hand turn around that red buoy that's then going to keep them going down the coastline to AGIOS Nikolaos, where they're going to end up finishing on the beach. This is going to be a water finish, I believe, that they're going to go through.
On the left side here, it looks like still Blue Ewer and Tassos way out in front here. And man, what a beautiful place to paddle up against these cliffs. And I'd expect to see them. You can see it's not dead flat once we get a good look at the water here. There's still a little texture on the water, maybe a little bit of wave refraction coming off the wall that they can use strategically. But they're both still sitting there pretty comfortably, no rush in their paddle. Well, as I say, Tassos making a little spurt forward, probably catch a little bump.
Yeah,
Adam,
you know,
can
Matt,
make
it strikes me, it looks like Tassos, he's just got it's a nice stroke, but it looks more labored than Blue. I was wondering early on if he was going to gas out, but he really kind of goes hard. That is his stroke. And you can see Blue a little like maybe smoother mechanics, but these guys have been neck and neck the entire time. And you can see that they've been I don't know that they're working together so much as they are forced to work together. They have put in constant attacks on each other. Every time we see a bump, one of them makes a move. And it looks like they are kind of sequestered together until the finish. It'll be very interesting to see if one of them makes a break anytime in the next 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, Adam, I agree. This whole time, it seems like you said, they're forced to work together. There's no doubt they were catching some side drafts here and there. Now you can see Tassos, leading Blue right now. Blue kind of, directly on his draft. But Matt, there's definitely a little bit of wash in there. Again, nothing that these guys aren't used to or handling, but you can see there's a little bit of kind of some rebounding waves there that they're playing around with. But both of these guys looking really good, looking smooth. Tassos on his ever ready. And Blue on the NSP in second place right now, both looking really good. I guess the question is going to be what's the prediction of at what point do they really just start to sprint it out for the finish? Like, what do they have in the gas tank right now? And are they waiting to the last 1K? Are they going to go to the last 100 meters? When do you think somebody's going to try to break away and make a move here with these first two guys?
Yeah, that's a tough call to make.
Yeah, Matt, I'm thinking that if I'm Blue, these two were going head-to-head in the tech race. And Blue handled Tassos, I wouldn't say easily, but he got the better out of him for sure. And if he's feeling like he's got energy, I don't think he needs to risk an early break or an early attack. If I'm Tassos, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking blue just beat me in the tech race 2 days ago. And that will not be a memory that has faded too quickly. He needs to be thinking about something slightly unconventional. And if for no other reason than to test blue and get a sense of where he is, it feels like this is a spot where he might attack. But meanwhile, you've got Faden, who's back behind him, who never, you could see from that drone shot, a beautiful drone shot we saw a little while ago, he got left. He never made it across to those guys in his no man land. So you don't want to blow up if you're Tassos and get run down by third place Faden, but you also don't want to just wait for the final 500 meters, knowing that blue is probably going to pip you at the end, no matter what you do.
Yeah, great point. And you could see these guys still aren't really in a rush. Looks like the pace is maybe slowed down a little bit up front, though it's hard to tell. And that could be them trying to just get an eye on each other to see how you're feeling. We saw Blue a little while ago taking a big slug of water, getting some nutrition in. They don't want to slow down too much because, to your point, Faden's still looking pretty strong there in third place. And there still is a group of guys of maybe 4 or 5 guys back behind them working together, though it looks like they haven't gotten super organized in terms of who's leading the draft train there and working together to close the gap. But we'll see what happens. They should be coming into that cove you were talking about here, Rob, in a minute.
Yeah, we're getting a look at the ladies now too.
Yeah, 2 ladies, both on NSP boards here.
We're looking at
Looking
the
really strong.
ladies and trying to for the boats, trying to communicate with the boat to go in front and see the front athletes. Of course, we're trying to not interrupt them. And I will have the numbers shortly to tell you the exact names of the athletes. Going back to you in a minute.
Thanks, Marios. You know, the athlete here that we're looking at on the right side of the screen
It's
is
Penitsautou.
She looks like she's in pretty good shape.
Yes, this is the Greek athlete.
Penitsautou?
This is the Penitsautou, yes. There is a Greek athlete. Yesterday went to the first stand of the podium. She gained the gold medal on the sprint.
Yeah, she looks very comfortable right now.
She does. It'll be interesting to see how far back from Alba she is, because she looks like she's paddling super strong.
Yes, I will have shortly the image of the other women, and we will see how front is or back in from Alba, and she's coming.
How many places are we going to watch the paddlers go by that we would like to have after race drinks at, guys? Look at that spot in the background there. It is just incredible.
Yeah, I'm already up to at least a dozen places.
All those places, all those places that you can see are hotels. And now on the men's, behind the men's, you can see a construction site that they're building, the Elunda Hills, that it will be a really, really, really big project with villas, hotels, swimming pools, water slides. It will be a really, really great. It started this year to forming up, and I'm not sure to tell you. I will not say anything if I'm not sure. It will take approximately 2 or 3 years to be finished.
I'm coming for the water slide.
Yeah, hey,
I'll be right there with you, Rob.
Tassos
So just a
looks
minute.
wrecked right
Go
now,
ahead.
doesn't he? I mean, he's going strong, but I just can't tell if it's just his style. Like I said, is sort of like a brutal, kind of like labored style. But I can't. And he might even be trying to play head games with Blue. Who knows?
Yeah, great
just
point,
a minute
Adam.
ago, we saw Blue looking over his shoulder, kind of getting an idea of, is Faden right behind him or what he's working with. But I don't know right now. I think Blue maybe in his head has made the decision, like, this is my time to win this race right now. And I think he's going to go for it the rest of the way.
Yeah, it's hard to know when he would break here. I mean, if I'm looking at Tassos and I'm blue, I'm going, this guy doesn't have much left. I'm just going to hold it, and blow up with about a half a K left. But this is Tassos style. Look, now Tassos is pulling ahead, and blue's going to sit in his side draft for a bit. This is actually really fascinating.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, Adam, whether this is like his stroke or there's a little bit of a Muhammad Ali rope-a-dope strategy happening here. Hard to know, but all right, I'll be bold. I'm going to say when they make that big 90-degree left-hand turn around the red buoy, I'm going to expect to see blue really put down the power. So I'm being bold. I'm making a prediction.
I would totally agree with you, Matt. I want so badly to watch Tassos just make a move here. He really does look labored here, but he's moving. His board's moving well, and blue is working right there with him. So the fact that blue isn't just slowly walking away tells me that Tassos is still getting really good power, very efficient. They're picking the pace up now a little bit. If I'm Tassos, I'm making a move before blue does. I just think he has to attack early and take the chance.
I think you're right. Can anybody catch a bib number on the few women we're seeing on our right side here? This woman in the white hat I saw sitting next to Penny a little while ago, so
yes,
she can't be too far
I
back from the
I will
main
tell
pack.
you shortly the name of the women that we have here. It's Daria Zaitseva with number 196.
Got it.
With the white hat, as you said, right? Yes,
Yes.
that
Yes,
we have
beautiful.
here.
Thank you.
Here that we have.
Athlete of Russian origin.
Yes. It's 196 that we have here.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Marius.
beautiful.
Trying to help.
Yeah, super helpful. You can get a much better view than we can. Thank you. Yeah, it looks like she's making some great time here. I think she's coming by those same villas you pointed out before, so she can't be too far behind Penny that we saw a little while ago.
If
I think
if you
that's
can imagine,
Penny right there.
if you can see on the clock in the upper left side, we're not really back from the men, and now we have the athlete with 063, and his name it's Jamal Mekawi from Italy.
One of the beautiful things about these regional races is that we get to see really strong paddlers who we might not have otherwise heard of. I'm always so impressed. I'll tell you, I had not heard of Faden until this year, but watching him paddle, it's clear that he is a pretty good talent. The fact that he's even remotely in touch with Blue and Tassos is very impressive, as an example. There's been great paddlers all weekend long.
And behind Daria, we have Charitos Papadakis, a Greek athlete again. Behind
Looks to
Daria,
be one of the
I saw him
juniors,
for a
which,
second and lost him now.
It's really great to see how many junior paddlers there are in this race too, and not just junior paddlers, but fast, strong, good junior paddlers, which is great for the future of the sport.
Our
if
cameraman
you're
is
a
trying
young
to.
athlete-
Yes, now he's with number 201. 201. It's Charitos Papadakis, if I'm right. Yes, we have Daria and Charitos. Our cameraman trying to zoom out.
Matt, to your point just a minute ago, just looking at the start list, even for the sprint and the tech, they had a huge junior category, even multiple junior categories of different smaller age ranges, which unfortunately in the States, we're doing our best to try to fill those positions as we just have not recruited that age level of talent as of right now into the sport, but we're all working really hard to do so.
So I'm watching Blue right now on the screen. He is slightly more labored than you would normally expect to see him. He has a very smooth stroke. It's barely noticeable, but he is not getting a ton of power on. It might be because he's sitting in side draft, but both these guys are looking like they're working fairly hard.
Yeah, I would imagine they're coming up on an hour in the race at this point. The heat's starting to take its toll. Even if you've done a great job with your nutrition and hydration, going hard for an hour out in the hot heat. I think, like you said earlier, Adam, it's probably high 80s, maybe low 90s here. Maybe, Marios, you can tell us what the temperature is if you know it, whether it's in Celsius or Fahrenheit. But, oh man, it looks like these guys behind them have started to close the gap a little bit, so they really can't let off the gas too much.
So now, guys, I will find the third one if I'll be able to, and the third one and the fourth athlete behind Tassos and Blue. Trying to zoom in right now to the athlete.
Yeah, these guys are looking good.
What's happening later today with awards? What are all these athletes going to be doing and celebrating with here in Crete?
What do you mean? What they're gonna do?
Well, they got to be having some fun. They're in such a gorgeous spot.
Yeah, of course.
Outside of being on the podium, where's the hangout spot?
Look,
where's everybody going to be hanging out?
with the athlete that I spoke yesterday, that I wasn't here in the first day. Most of them said that they're really tired and trying to gain more power for today's race. So they had food and a couple of non-alcoholic drinks here in the city, because we have a really beautiful lake, as I said earlier, and you'll see it shortly when the athletes come, and the beautiful port of AGIOS NIKOLAOS. I don't know if we can have a shot of AGIOS NIKOLAOS because nothing happened, nothing changed yet to the race. So I will ask our director if we can have a look around AGIOS NIKOLAOS and
Yeah, we're getting a good look now at some of the following draft chains, and they all look pretty comfortable, but you can see they're working hard. You know, Matt, that kind of like telltale when
now the things that told you,
the blade goes a little bit deeper and longer in the water when they're trying to maybe have like a minor recovery, like, you know, towards the back end of their stroke. It's just hot, you're tired. Snapping those hips back forward becomes more and more difficult with every stroke, and it looks like everyone from the two front leaders on back end of the train suffering a little bit from fatigue now.
Definitely, though they're still moving pretty good. But you're right.
Yeah, they're moving
like, you know,
pretty fast right there.
Yeah, look, maybe a little bit more taxing technique than we were seeing up at the front, but we're seeing an attack here from, I believe this was paddler in 6th place on the Infinity.
I tried
He's gotta
to
be
show
feeling pretty
you.
good if he's being aggressive.
I tried to show you guys the lake of AGIOS NIKOLAOS, but you were speaking about the men's race. I don't know if we can have it once more. The lake of AGIOS NIKOLAOS to have a look. Here is the beautiful lake that I was talking about. Here is the finishing line, and then it's really beautiful with the night lights and all the taverns, restaurants, bars, cocktail bars. It's really beautiful. Here is the bridge that it's connecting the city with the lake. All the cars that passing through, this is the bridge of AGIOS NIKOLAOS, and if our camera women, Ivona, can move around the camera slowly to have a look.
Yeah, what an incredibly idyllic place to have a paddle race. This is officially on my bucket list if it wasn't before.
Now you will see the other part of AGIOS NIKOLAOS in 1 minute, and we will go back to the race. Just have a look. You will come next year. I want you here, guys.
From your mouth to God's ears.
Look at it.
There we go.
Look at it, guys.
Wow.
Here is the finishing line.
And there's the finish line.
Yes, yes. This is the finishing line, and here it's me. After the finishing line, you can see.
Oh yeah,
there you
are.
Waving.
Turquoise shirt, we see you.
Trying to wave at you here in the finishing line, and we're going back to the event right now.
You might be testing the mic's range, but it was good to see you on camera again, Marius. And here we go. Yeah.
I have a really big range of the mic. I can stand even in the back of the lake, and you still can hear me. Oh, the production is really great. We're trying to do our best. So now we're passing through the last but not least yet hotel in the Mirabello port. From the
So how far are these guys from the finish right now? About 2K or 1K?
I think it's a little bit more than 1 or 2K, because if it was 1 or 2K, I would be able to see them, but I can't see them yet. And now, if we can show with our camera woman, some of athletes have came back with a boat, stopped the race. It's something that usually happens, and I will try to have a better look to the numbers of the athletes. I think it's 2 boys from the category of the boys that retired from the race.
Well, geez, you never hope to see that, but it does probably put into perspective how it looks beautiful and really mellow out there, but it's still tough going, and I'm sure the heat has not been helping some of the athletes out there.
Yeah, I don't like heat at all, and I'm wearing a hat, sunscreen, everything, and it's still really hot out here. I will be able to have their names and have a few words from them if you want when they go out of the boat.
So officially, the red buoy is 3.5K from the finish.
Yes, and they have already going towards the red buoy. It's 3.5K.
And have they made that buoy turn yet? I'm not sure if we caught that on film or not.
No. I think so. Not yet, because I'm trying to look as close as I can, but I think not yet.
You know, a huge shout out to, I just keep seeing the new Infinity Ever Ready. I mean, that board I've seen like 10 times here today, and a lot of NSPs. You're looking at a Sonova there. There's clearly, you know, all your orange nose starboards. You can't miss those guys. But it seems like a really big showing, you guys, from NSP and Infinity here in the front so far.
Yeah, I was surprised. In fact, a little bit dismayed, just as someone who's going to be calling the race, that there was a certain level of homogeneity with the boards. We have, Sonova, NSP, and Infinity sort of make up the bulk of them. It gets a lot more difficult to piece apart who are the various riders when they're all on one of 3 boards. But you can see all of these boards are performing really well in these flat water conditions. They're largely all water boards, but you can see, I mean, the glide these guys are getting is just, it's frankly, especially in this water, it's so glassy. It's really nice to watch.
Guys, I have the names.
Seeing the mid pack of the women.
I have the names of the 2 athletes that retired from the race. The first one is with number 181. His name is Andreas Kousis Voularis from Greece. And the second one is with the number 037. His name is Theodoros Nikitas Moschos, also from Greece. 2 young athletes that, as I remember, last year and before 2 years before that I was here, finished the race, but I don't know what happened today. They're coming towards me, so I want to have 2 words with them, and I'll be back to you.
Excellent. Wow. Hey, while we're talking, look at Phaedon has closed the gap a bit again. Did you see that, Matt?
I did. Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth, Adam. He really closed the gap. He's only a few board lengths back. Looks like we're seeing some of the mid-pack women here. A group of 4, maybe 5 paddlers, one right off the right of screen there. Man, I just can't get over paddling by these cliffs. This is just such a gorgeous place to be. And these ladies are keeping up a pretty good pace, too.
Yeah, the overall skill level that we're seeing out there across, frankly, all the days has been really impressive. It's really fascinating to watch this course, having seen this race so many times with like big downwind conditions, seeing it flat. Frankly, it's kind of a nice change of pace. It's a little bit probably more fun for the paddlers when it's blowing hard and they're going downwind. But just the ability to kind of watch the skills in terms of just paddle efficiency with this backdrop is it is a visual feast.
Not only that, but this race seems to attract a lot of paddlers. I think just in the long distance race here, they're just shy of 130 paddlers that are out there today,
125 exactly.
125 to be exact.
Yes.
I mean, it's an incredible number.
125. About the guys that stopped the race, about Andreas Vulgaris. I just spoke with him. He has a back pain, so that's why he stopped. And Nikitas Moschos, I'm sorry, he had miscounting of his water, and his water finished, so he stopped because the sun is really hitting, and he stopped because he was thirsty and was afraid that he will faint, so that's why he stopped. I just spoke with them, and they told me that the conditions are really great, although the weather is helping. It doesn't has any wind inside, so it was it wasn't so difficult than other years that they participated. They're sad they stopped, but it's for their health. They wasn't sure that they will finish or not. They didn't want to faint, so that's why they stopped.
Thanks, Marios. For folks talking about draft trains, if you watch the fourth paddler in this frame right here, you can see the effect. She's maybe taking one stroke for every 3 that the front paddler is. Maybe it's every 2.
Yes, I can see it.
The benefit of being in that 3rd or 4th spot in a draft train like that is just so amazing. This is a great illustration of it.
Yeah, Adam, can you go on about that? Tell us like what it's like, whether you're 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th here in the train. What's the difference?
Yeah, well, so first is often quite nice because you're just getting clean water, and you're going your pace, and you're not distracted by trying to follow someone's board in front of you or what they're doing or any of that. You're just find a tempo and do it. You can see what that woman is doing. Number 2, you get some benefit from the draft, but that 3rd spot is really where you start seeing the combination of the 2 boards, like the pressure wave of water below them, really starts essentially creating a suction for you and pulling you along. Now, similarly, they're watching, these are our 2 front leading men, and sitting in side draft has a similar effect, and that's exactly where Tassos is now. These guys have picked up the pace a little bit. And Tassos is benefiting from the bow wash coming off Blue being on the blue board, Tassos on that orange nosed Infinity. That side wash will propel you along similar to a draft. So 2 ways to draft, side and in the rear.
I would even argue a lot of individuals feel like that side draft maybe has just a little more push to it, but also a little more complicated to stay in depending on who you're paddling with.
Yeah, I think you're dead
Rob,
on,
one
Rob.
of the things we've seen in the last year is a lot more side draft going on, period. I think part of it, I think, is the really high sidewalls that we're beginning to see on almost every board. Boards are creating a really beneficial bow wake because of the shapes of the boards. But it also makes it a little bit easier with dugouts to ride it. And if you watch some of the pro races over the last year, side drafting has become almost more prevalent.
Yeah, there's no doubt there's a change there. It looks like Tassos making a little bit of a move here. He just picked up his cadence a little bit. He's starting to paddle faster. It doesn't seem like Blue's gonna stop though.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. The pace is definitely picked up out front here, which means we can't be too far away from the finish. Still probably have at least a K or 2 to go. I haven't seen us come around that 3.5K buoy yet, but Adam, take it away. You're going to talk about
Matt,
Faden
there's
here.
Faden. He unbelievable that he is still there, frankly. I thought he was toast. And frankly, I thought he might have blown up. I would have been surprised to see him finish 3rd because it looked like he put in a huge effort and then it failed. But look at him now. He's probably about 15 meters maybe. He's in touch. If either one of these guys goes in at a turn or just catches a funny wave or bad stroke, he's going to pounce. And he looks like he's working harder than him right now and making perhaps some headway.
He's put himself in a really great spot here. To your point, Adam, like if any little bobble or error happens up front between Blue or Tassos, he's there to jump on it. He's put himself for sure in a really great spot to finish. You'll never know what can happen. He's, I think, even closing the gap a little bit more. We can see the tail wake from the front two guys' board in the left-hand side of screen. So he can't be more than like 2 or 3 board lengths back. So it'd be really interesting to see him make touch with the front two guys and really mix things up here at the end.
Yeah, wow.
There we go. That's a shot right there.
Oh, wow. That is a beautiful shot.
Let's try to keep all 3 of them in camera if we can.
Oh, guys, now in the left screen with the men's, we can already see AGIOS Nikolaos. This is actually AGIOS Nikolaos, Minos Beach. Here is the coast of AGIOS Nikolaos with Amoudi, the beach called Amoudi. They're not far away from the finishing line. The finishing line is on their left hand. On the right hand, they have the beach, Amoudi and Minos Beach, the hotel. And Ormos. Here is the Rob, if you remember the church I was talking about, the really old church that AGIOS Nikolaos take the name from it. I don't know if you remember. We're talking on the phone.
Yes. So I learned a couple days ago that AGIOS Nikolaos is, St. Nicholas. How about that?
Yeah.
Guess I should have known that.
the patron saint of Greek mariners.
And he was...
For all that you who didn't know that, now you know.
I can say that Rob was really excited learning that AGIOS Nikolaos is St. Nicholas in English. I was trying to explain it.
My Greek is just about as good as my Spanish. So, but hey, on a real quick note, we can now see that right after Faden, you can see this chase group that really never bridged the gap to Faden either. Of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gentlemen right behind, trying to push it to the finish right now.
Faden was right there, and it looks like he's lost about a board length on from where he was. I'm like on the edge of my seat. I desperately want him to get there. It's just the effort he's put in. But yeah, he's lost a little bit of distance. It looks, Matt, like Tassos and Blue have begun to open it up a little bit here in terms of just racing each other now. And looks like there's some texture on the water.
Definitely, and I've been really impressed. Blue and Tassos have been glued to each other's boards the entire race so far. And we're almost 70 minutes into this race. So that tells me, because no one's been willing to give an inch here and sit in behind anyone, that they're both probably feeling pretty good at this point in the race and like their chances. If somebody was really hitting a wall, we probably would have seen somebody sit in on a tail draft at some point or another. But we haven't seen that. We're coming into the last couple K here. So the pace has definitely incrementally picked up, and I'd expect to see a little bit more aggression over the next few minutes here from one or the other. And maybe Faden is fading back a little bit more as well. I was with you, Adam. I was hoping he was gonna touch, but it looks like that might be not in the cards for him at this point. We'll see.
And if I can see,
you guys are just gonna go.
If I can see, the third athlete to the men is still Fedon Doukas. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that all 3 of them started the race, and as it looks, they're gonna finish it as it started with Blue, Tassos, and then Fedon.
Yeah, it looks like you're dead on.
You can see they're moving into sprint mode a little bit right here. You can see Tassos just choked down on his paddle there a little bit. A little deeper, quicker, faster strokes right now.
We see a little bit of boat weight coming to the screen, so hopefully that doesn't become a factor here. But it looks like Blue's trying to separate himself from Tassos, and just getting him off his side draft maybe will give him the opportunity to make a move. Though it looks like Tassos is hanging with him. Tassos is looking really good right now. On our right side of the screen, it looks like we've got one of our female paddlers on a Sonova board. This is probably a little mid pack. Oh, this was that same draft train we were seeing a little while ago. If we can,
I'm watching
on the female camera, if we could get a sense of where Alba's at, she's probably not too far away from the men's mid-pack leaders here as well.
That's a great drone shot. Those guys are right back next to each other. This is going to be a fascinating finish, guys.
You know, it's really interesting even just to think about their strategy, Adam and Matt, as far as, you know, they didn't really attempt to concede and take a backdraft really at all. I mean, maybe for moments here and there, but it seems like there's been a lot of side drafting and or just fighting it out, just duking it out the whole time. Looks like they're catching a little bit of those mini little boat waves there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're really hammering now.
Yeah, Faden, I think. He might have made a huge push that we didn't see on camera to get close to those guys, but he is in trouble of getting caught from behind. Those guys are on a bump of some sort. They're about to swallow him, it looks like.
Yeah, they're going pretty hard too. I don't even know if he's caught them doing that yet.
The first athletes are coming to me.
Oh, here we go.
They're almost in the finishing line. I can now see even the drone from here where I am.
Because they have to make this right-hand turn, Blue might have a slight advantage right here, being on the inside line.
Yes, guys, they're right, here.
Rob. Oh man, this is going to be an exciting finish. These guys are neck and neck.
They have already came to the port of AGIOS NIKOLAOS, where I'm standing right now, and I can really see from my own eyes the athletes, and with the help of our...
Right now, Tasos is in the lead, coming around this
Yes,
pier.
yes, Tasos is coming.
Faden was 3 board lengths behind, and now he's 30 board lengths behind, and that chase pack hasn't caught up to Faden yet, but he's not far.
They're here. Tasos is leading the race, guys. We have almost 100 meters to finish. Tasos is in front. Blue is behind him.
Wow. Tasos is just laying into it. Look how low his bottom hand is.
Cheering up. And now we are almost in the finishing line, guys. Tasos has finished first. Just passed from the finishing line. Bravo, Tasos!
Wow, he wanted that so bad.
Well done.
Wow,
nice finish, Tasos.
Blue has just finished. Yes.
Is ever ready. Nice work.
Blue,
David going to be happy.
Second.
We have
now this race for third.
We have the third athlete coming.
Work, okay, let's see the bottle up happen right after the finish line here. Let's see how.
Oh,
yes.
Faden's held on.
Looks like Faden was able to hold on there. Pretty great race for him. Wow, he was just in no man's land the whole time, but kept it.
Yes,
great
we have a really
4, 5, 6, and 7.
We have a really great finishing line.
Ooh, tight sprint.
Oh my God!
There for 6th. I love it.
Amazing. What an amazing race.
They must be really tired, and I will try to find Tasos. I will try to find Tasos.
You know, it looked like Tasos was really suffering, Matt. And I think that his style, we noted it early on, his style is just, very brutal, very effective. But when you're watching it, it just looks like he is working himself to death. But he had it left in the tank for sure. And that final push, wow.
Yeah,
you want to have, guys, a really quick few words from Tasos if he is able, one. He's coming, guys, right towards me. So standing down. I'm giving the microphone to Tasos, guys.
Να κυνηγάτε τα όνειρά σας γιατί γίνονται πραγματικότητα.
Follow your dreams. They will come true. Guys, Tasos just said. Waiting for someone else to come. And Matt, Rob, and Adam, I'm back to you if you want to say anything for the live stream.
Well, I'm curious where the impact are now.
Yeah, it'd be great. Let's see which catch females, see what they're up to right there. So really fun as far as, you know, having that so right turn around that pier coming into the port. You know, we kind of the inside line roll definitely did not, and our two lead paddlers there with Tasos just crushing it at the end. He definitely let us know that he had more in the tank, and when he unleashed it at the end, he ended up having a 5-6 board length lead on Blue Ewer there. Pretty impressive. That
here are the women.
gas
Here are the women guys.
Yeah, there's Alba.
Now she's the first athlete, as we can see. Alba is still leading the race. She's the first of the women.
Compare her stroke right now versus the two lead men. You know, the duress that they were under, you can kind of see them really kind of suffering with every stroke. Again, really great strokes, efficient the whole nine, but you could see they were really labored. She looks like she's out in a training run, working at about 85%. It just is so smooth.
Yeah, great point, Adam. She's looking really mellow, super casual. I imagine there's no other women in sight for her still. And as she comes up to the end of this cliff wall on the right side, this is where we start to see the water open up for the guys before, which means she's probably only about 2K or so from the finish. It'll be interesting if she decides to pick up the pace just for the fun of it, like she would be on a training run. But there we see her taking down some hydration, making sure she feels good for this last stretch here.
Yeah, if you watch, one of the things you can note on her stroke is it's just paddles coming out right at her feet. It's real efficient. She's snapping up quickly. We've seen some other paddlers who, you know, like long in the water and clearly, I mean, yeah, is that is not her.
No, this is a different paddler.
Yeah, this is a mid-pack paddler making his way towards the finish here.
Yes, she's not there yet. She's a little bit behind the finishing line. I think we need more 5 minutes or 10 mostly for her to finish. Here now in the lake, I can see most of the athletes finishing their race and jumping on the water, trying to get some hydration.
It looked like a pretty refreshing dip to take there at the finish line after this nice long hot paddle.
Yeah, they seem pretty excited about it.
Nice time to take a swim for sure.
I love watching Alba passing some of these other paddlers, and it's just, you know, I mean, these folks have been out there for at least 10K or probably about 10K now in the heat, suffering, and here she comes, just like we were saying, on a Sunday stroll of sort, just making it look so easy. It's got to be hard to stomach watching another human being pass you offering at the end of a race, and she's just making it look so easy.
It's really an impressive display of her fitness here today. It'd be interesting to get a sense if we can get a drone shot at some point too, to see how far back the women's trains are from Alba, or if they're even in sight.
We will have Alba finish in the finishing line in approximately 3 minutes.
Oh, beautiful.
Nice.
3 minutes from now, so I was correct in for the 5 or 10 minutes. She's coming.
Matt, you know, going back to something you said earlier as far as last-minute board changes, you know, we really haven't seen too many just flat water style boards out here today. Everybody's been on some version of their all-around boards.
Yeah, you're right. And it looks like that was a great move, like especially as they were coming by the cliffside and everything. Water was a little bit less glassy than I would have anticipated right off the bat. And it looks like I haven't seen anybody take a spill or go for a swim or anything. So it looks like everybody made a good board choice for themselves. And certainly the speeds were high at the front of the men's race. So it didn't seem to be hurting them at all.
What would you, to the average individual who's, you know, watching the race and they're considering coming out for their local next 10K event, Let's just talk a little bit about what these athletes, I mean, we've talked about, they're definitely sucking down water. They most likely have some version of nutrition either in their water or some type of maybe goo pack or something quick that they were sneaking in halfway. Let's talk about that a little bit. What's the average intermediate paddler going to want to do in a race like this for themselves?
Man, good question. It's super individual. Everybody likes and dislikes different things, and some athletes do better with more calories in liquid form, and others do better with more calories when you eat some real food or a goo or something like that mid-race. But for something like this, where the winning time for the men, I think, was an hour 14, I'd expect to see Alba only a few minutes behind that mark. They need to be taking in quite a bit of mostly carbohydrates in the form of simple sugars, because it's just want to hit your system as soon as possible. If it's anything you really have to digest, foods, proteins, and stuff, that's not something you want to be taking in the middle of the race.
The first athlete finished, guys, in 1 hour and 22 minutes. Exactly. 1 hour and 22 minutes.
Nice.
Yep.
Tassos finished in 1 hour and 22.
Pretty fast times for flat water.
Yes, and if you remember, when we started the broadcast, we said that we will be approximately 2 or 2.5 hours. That's way, way better than we were expected.
Yeah, a 1 hour 20 minutes is, speaking of intermediate paddlers, that's what you might expect an intermediate paddler to finish a 10K in. So they add a few extra Ks and that's their finish time. Hey, I'll say one thing, irrespective of nutrition, Rob, because I'm a thoroughly intermediate paddler at best. I think the other thing too is just energy management, and this also ties in with the all water board. You've got to expend a ton of energy at the start, and an all water board, even when you're going to be paddling some distance in flat water, it is a very survivable board to be on. And what I mean by that is there's all that competitor. I think if you've watched any number of SUP races, you've seen it. At the start, you really do need to put yourself in a position to be on a draft train. So if you can be in a position to really hammer at the start, first 100, 200 meters, but be in a position to start working with others, then you have a higher survivability, I'll say.
So now, guys,
you're not working by yourself alone.
No, guys, we have the first 10 men athletes that finished in this long distance race here in our screens. As we said, Tassos Chouris, he's the first ever blue. Doukas Fedon in the back, and Malekakis, Frago, Ginversen, Samiotis, Madjan, Pampinella, and Varlas. Now we're going back to the women, if you don't mind, guys, because here we have in our screens Alba. She's almost in the corner of the finishing line. After this corner is the finishing line, so 3 more minutes, not sure.
It looks like she's starting to pick up the pace here a little bit just to get it. I know she doesn't need to, there's no one on her tail. Looks like she's going to pick up the pace a little bit to try to finish strong over the last kilometer or so here.
Big shout out to all those gentlemen, fourth, fifth, and sixth place. I mean, that was a really great battle that they had. Unfortunately, we didn't catch all of it, but that was a really great finish. They were all right there at that finish line, and they held on to the pretty similar pace. They just never caught up to those initial draft trains in the beginning.
Yeah, great point, Rob. I did a little bit of back of the napkin math here for those sitting at home wondering what the average pace was up front. 1:22 finish time over 13.5 kilometers puts them right around 10 kilometers an hour as their average finish time. And the whole top 10 was within about a minute of that same time. So their average speeds were pretty close there.
It shows you the class of Tassos and Blue. There was 4 paddlers, maybe more when you pull Faden in, who could have worked together to drag them back and probably were doing their best. And kudos to Faden too. That is some real. You got 4 paddlers in a draft train. You would give them the advantage to track Faden down at least, and never did it. It just shows you the level of fitness by those guys. And I will also say it is great to see all of these Greek athletes doing so well in their home race. You would kind of expect that, but you don't see outside of Tassos, you don't see a lot of Greek names in many of the international races. So I'll be particularly curious to see how many of these folks we see in some of the races maybe next summer, even later this year.
Yeah, and it looks like Alba is maybe coming in around the narrow part of the wall here where she's going to make her right-hand turn.
So,
towards the
guys,
finish line right here.
Yes, Alba is right now. She's right in front of me. I can see her. She's here. She came.
Looks like she's going to give it a little acceleration here towards the finish. Man, still looking as fresh as she was at the beginning.
And she's almost...
Someone went in at the...
Now, Alba,
Oh,
she's just finished the race. Alba just finished the race. Yes.
These guys are still trying to get through the finish line here. A little bit of a crash right there.
oh boy.
Yep.
Okay, 3 down.
But it's a crash.
Does your entire board have to cross the line, Marios, or are those guys finished? Or are they still racing?
Those guys are a really good equivalent of me. I will be these guys. Yes, from the first 2 minutes of the race. Yes, this is me in an afterlife, not in the finishing line, because I will not finish.
Well, we've now had 2 dramatic finishes for the day.
Yes.
So far.
And when I will jump in the water, I will be the third.
Fair.
So I'm going towards Alba to find her if she wants to have a word with me. But
we're losing you. Marios, we're losing.
Trying to find her.
Well,
So
really
we're
puts
back to you guys
perspective
till I
how
find Alba.
dominant Alba was through that race that we still haven't seen another woman in frame. So I'm hoping we can get a sense of where the rest of the female paddlers are and get a good look at the race for second, third, fourth, fifth. Got some more of our mid-pack men finishing here.
Yeah, one of the things, and now looking at this finish, Matt and Rob, this race there really are kind of 3 iconic landmarks, and I hope folks watching will maybe go back and watch some of the previous versions of this race on YouTube as well. It's worth it. Just this finish location is amazing. That headland with the cliff wall is really amazing, and of course that channel that we talked about earlier in the race. This is such an incredible setting for a race, and really, again, just such a pleasure to watch it. Having seen it so many times with gusting downwind, which is super fun, to see it in this placid conditions, just really spectacular. I mean, look at this view.
As for all the other women athletes, all the boats that had the cameramen and the drone came here in the finishing line, so we will have to wait. We will not have a view inside to see where they're heading to or where they are exactly. And because all of the boats came with Alba and the first men athletes, so we will have to wait for them to come towards us. So we will catch them from the drone or the cameras that we have here inside the port right now. I'm not sure, so I think we have to wait for the other women.
Adam, something that you were saying. I mean, this race, goes back over 8 years ago is when this race started, and I don't know. I think it's a huge shout out to races that can last even 8 years in the stand-up paddleboard community, and clearly this one just keeps excelling. They have a huge attendance ratio here, a really great split between men and women, a lot of juniors. They had a lot of younger kids in the sprints last night, and obviously one of the most iconic places you'd probably ever want to paddle. Just absolutely gorgeous backdrop.
Yeah, and really great attendance for a race. It's actually sandwiched between a bunch of other major races. This I would count as one of the major races too, but really great attendance. And Marios, I'm curious, do you know, well, you know what? There's Katniss just at the bottom of our screen right there.
And it actually looked like we were seeing our second woman on a Sonova board come across the finish line. So we can shoot back to the finish line camera real quick. We're seeing our second place finisher.
I wonder if that was Kiriaki.
Guys, Alba needed 1 hour and 27 minutes and 50 cents to finish the 13.5K. I have the first time for the women.
Looks like Katniss right now making a move.
Yeah, she's a very strong sprinter.
Oh, a little bumping.
Oh boy. Oh, this is exciting stuff. Katniss is a very strong sprinter. I don't know who. Oh wow.
Oh,
This is tight stuff.
This is real aggressive racing.
Oh my gosh.
Oh wow.
She fell right in front of me. It's unbelievable. She fell right in front of me, not more than 100 meters from the finishing line.
Do we know who was on the ever ready there?
Yes, I'll try to figure it out for you guys. But she's not six.
Wow, that was exciting and aggressive on both accounts.
I can't say I saw anything illegal or wrong necessarily. They just got right on each other's rails and started running out of room. And it'll be interesting to get Katniss's take on that. She was getting driven into that stone pier there. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you do if you're her in that situation.
I would almost go so far to say I think her board might even hit that pier right there. I mean, that was pretty tight.
At least your paddle did. Wow, that was unexpected. Okay, so we've got 3 dramatic finishes for the day. I would love to find out what happened there. That was nerve-wracking at best.
It was, and I believe Katniss coming in for third. And I think we saw our paddler on the Sonova come in for second. And whoever that was who took a swim on the Infinity there, I think coming in for the copper medal in fourth.
Ooh. All right.
I did not expect that level of drama there. I'm glad we saw it, but holy mackerel, that was really intense. And again,
that'll be worth a replay.
Yeah, I think it was fair game. It's just aggressive is the right word.
It's fun seeing the reality of the heat hit these athletes as they come across the finish line. Lots of faces of, thank goodness I made it. And we've all been there. Do you guys want to care to share the experience of yours coming across a finish line that you're just happy to make it? Oh, that's a great shot.
I think
there.
a lot of them are really hoping to not throw up.
So guys,
that's
if I am correct and I see correctly, we will see for the video footage, if I'm correct, the second woman that finished, it's Logotheti Kyriaki with number 149. And
that's who she was on the Sonova that we never saw her come across, but Kyriaki was on the Sonova.
And the third athlete, if I'm correct, is Paris Katniss from your country, from USA.
Yep.
So
if who was fourth? Who was the fourth place, Marios? Who took a spill in that battle with Katniss?
The fourth place of the women. I think it's Nancy Karaindrou from Sitia, Greece.
Wow. Great race for both of them.
Yes, it was a really great race. I'm still trying to find Alba, but I'm not able yet. Maybe she fainted under the bridge or something like that. Not sure yet. Hope so, yeah.
Something we haven't talked about. This is a ICF, the International Canoe Federation. This is one of their World Cup events.
Yes,
where there are usually between 3 and 5 World Cup events per year. That these athletes not only had the race on the line, but they're all accruing points, which are going to play a role in their initial seeding if they make it to World Championships. We know Katniss Paris is going to be representing the Nations Cup here or USA as far as one of our paddlers in that race. So all these athletes right now, they're definitely accruing points, and that's going to help them when they come up to ICF World Championships in Sarasota, Florida. That happens in November, coming up here soon. pretty neat to see that happening in the U.S. this year.
I want to go back for just 1 second and talk about that paint exchange that we saw moments ago with Katniss and Nancy. One of the things that happened, so Katniss is a very strong sprinter, and it looked like she was about to distance Nancy. And as she was beginning to pass her, Nancy started going harder, as one would do. And a lot of times what'll happen is when you get two boards like that, there's like a magic distance where once they get inside of that, the hydro effects will suck them into each other. And it looked like that was a little bit of what happened. Katniss had her paddle in her left hand for a moment, but it doesn't matter if you're trying to sweep yourself away. When you get inside of about a foot of another paddler, that can happen. And I wonder if that's what started it. And then it was just adrenaline and kind of like locking eyes. And then as Nancy was stuck having to paddle on her left side, and you can see like that paddler is here. This is another fun finish. And here's another person with the close call. But as Nancy was stuck with her paddle in her left hand, she starts driving Katniss into that wall, and that turns into a real panic moment.
Yeah, real quick, this is Penny, our sprint champion from yesterday, coming across the line here.
Yes.
And you can see behind them,
and
this is one of my favorite parts about the sport, is no matter where you finish, you are racing your own race. You can see a lot of these paddlers really hammering across the line, trying to beat whoever they were drafting with the whole race. And man, you can see the psych on this junior paddler coming across the line.
He's psyched.
This is one of the coolest parts about the sport.
Yeah, really well put, Matt.
Yeah, Adam, to your point, we're going to find out whether Katniss and Nancy are friends or worst enemies here later on today after that exchange.
I hope that they are able to mend boards and feelings. That was very intense, and I'll just say I think the three of us have probably been there at various stages. It can be really alarming when you are in real tough traffic like that at a hard mark. That wasn't just aggressive racing at a inflatable buoy. That's a scary spot to get kind of in a tangle. I easy enough to and as one would hope they would shake hands and smile about it. But I can only imagine the adrenaline that those two were experiencing over those last 100 meters, because that was a lot. I cannot wait to go back and watch that like 6 times.
Not only that, but like you said, I mean, that's at the end of 13K. That wasn't towards the beginning.
Oh, here's another great
finish.
I mean, look at this. Yeah.
Great finish. Great finish.
It was almost a dramatic finish. I thought that they were going to crash and we will have a fourth dramatic finish, but nope. Still be the fourth.
What an incredible setting. Period. This is just, and this looks like, it seems to me, and Marius maybe can tell us, are some of the tourists who were not expecting to see a stand-up paddle race getting pulled into the excitement? Because it sure looks like a handful of people who probably had no idea what this event was about have decided to stop and take note.
Yeah, I don't know. I can see a lot of tourists taking photos, videos. I'm not sure if they was informed about today's race, but I think that it was informed because we have how it's called, flags and banners all over the town. Before 2 years, we had several tourists that they asked if they can jump in and do some paddling. I said, if you want, yeah, why not? I'm waiting if this happens once more this year. I'm not sure yet.
That's great. I mean, what a beautiful way to get more people psyched on the sport. I mean, if you don't like this, you might not like paddling, because this is probably about as good as it gets. This is just beautiful stuff, and like the perfect setting, super high competition at the front, still, people in the mid pack here really psyched to be finishing a tough course on a hot day. And man, just I can't wait to be here next year. I think this is officially on my travel list now.
I've got.
You know that I'm waiting for you, right? You know that I'm waiting for you. And it's one of my dreams to come to America. I want to do it. So if you will invite me to Florida for the next championship, I'll come. I'll think about it.
You're invited.
You are invited. We'll trade. You'll take us out for drinks on one of the beautiful spots along the canal there, and you'll come here for one of the big U.S. races, and we'll have a great time.
Great, why not? Why not? I'm trying to figure it out if we can have a look inside the lake with the athletes that have already finished, forming like a group, like a pack. I'll try to have a look at it. Give me a second.
Yeah, this is, I got to say, I'm still sort of reeling from all of what we've seen. These finishes have just been pretty incredible. I mean, between Tasso with that finish there, Alba, who was just, it looked like she had been paddling for maybe a K, you know, just to kind of, you know, a warm down kind of. She was so composed, which was shocking. And then, of course, that incredible dash for third place for the women. It just, you know, this is as fun as a great downwind is. You rarely wind up. The intrigue is typically at some point early or midpoint of the race when someone kind of just gets into a groove and finds bumps and walks away.
Look at it now, guys.
Case, I was really looking forward to this. Oh, go ahead, Marios.
This is the best scene of the today's race for me. Just after the finishing line is the Limni Voulis, the lake Voulismeni of AGIOS Nikolaos, and all the athletes heading to, but the drone is dead. Oh my God.
We almost had it. We saw it.
Yeah, but we can you can see me now. Why not? And the finishing line of most of the women and still some men trying to finish their round. It's really tough, guys. It's really tough, guys. As I can see from the athletes, the way that they're breathing, the way that they're looking in front, I think it's really tough, the thing that they're doing today. Especially for me, that I'm not used to this kind of sports and this kind of distances.
Marios, we'd love to see if we have a graphic of the female finish times, those top finishers.
Yes.
Really
we're trying
what
to.
that time gap was.
We're trying to have it. We're trying to have it, but it's already uploaded in only the first, and I'll try to have the 10 of them. So I think I need approximately 1 minute more to have a finishing line for women.
Yeah. Well, so I'll finish what I was saying before. I was looking forward to this flat water. We saw the wind forecast was for like no wind, and we got what you expect when you see flat water. A much more strategic race, which is exactly what Blue and Tassos treated us to. And then just all the other paddlers who wound up in draft trains sticking together throughout. The inability for bumps to begin to separate people means that you're going to be together with someone. Drafting plays a huge role, and it's funny to watch some of these finishers. That guy's having a conversation, the other one's sprinting in. But what an entertaining day.
And to what Marios was talking about, what a beautiful place to cool down. They go under this short little bridge where you kind of have to lay down on your board to get under. And there's a little lake on the other side where it looks like all the paddlers are hanging out, cooling off, hydrating up a little bit. And one of my favorite parts about the race is everybody has their own experience during the race. So when you get to sit and talk with everybody afterward, you say like, oh, this was so cool for me. How did it go for you? And you share those stories after the race. And it seems like one of the most beautiful places on earth to get to do that. So next year for sure. Oh, so here we see these are the top 10 male times again. Tight finishes, top 10 all within about 3 minutes of each other. That's pretty close. And this is, we see places 11 through 20 for the male finishers. Again, a lot of fast times, even 20th place, only about 6 minutes back from first place. So lots of really strong paddlers in the top 10.
Pretty impressive with those top 20 moving that quick.
Yep. I like seeing the Romanian competitors on here. Never really any insight into the Romanian SUP scene, but there's quite a few who showed up for this event.
Guys, it looks like the female finishers are mixed in here. So here we see Alba in place 22, but really she's first place women, second place down there in 30th. So about a 4-minute gap between first and second place in the women's field. Just shows how strong Alba was today.
Yeah. And Kariaki, also really strong showing. Nancy and Katniss are not slouches as athletes by any stretch of the imagination. So
there you go. You can see Paris's time at 1:33,
and Nancy down there just about 30 seconds back.
We have another woman just finished. It's Eleni Yakoumaki from Sitia. She just passed the finishing line, and we still can see the men that they finished, the 50 men.
Oh, Marius, here's that beautiful drone shot of the lake you were talking about before.
Matt, you brought up a really good point, and it's something that we try to do here with the Goat Boater Race Series, and I know you guys have all been a part of it, but there's just so much more that you're not going to be able to see. Obviously, we're getting a glimpse of what you were talking about, all these athletes, talking and hanging out after the race. But, most of these races have, pre-game stuff. They have post-game stuff. And just being able to sit with your friends afterwards and eat lunch and, share that camaraderie it's just so powerful. And every one of these races has that unique scene that they have before and after that makes it so much fun. And that I think all four of us would encourage you, if you're watching and you haven't been to a local race or you haven't been to one of these races, like get to that race on your bucket list, because you will be so surprised at how much fun you will have, even just outside of the race itself, because this stand-up paddleboard community is in general, I think, one of the most welcoming communities you can find in a competitive athletic sport, that whether you're new to the sport or you're a seasoned pro athlete, you can just walk up and talk to people. And most of them are pretty receptive to have a great conversation.
Really well put, Rob. I think the other thing too, a lot of those folks we saw coming in the last 10 minutes or so, are your average, your neighbor, it's sort of like the equivalent of like your 5K runner kind of thing. It is doable, especially on a day like today. I think one of the other nice things about having a really flat day, a lot less intimidating for some of the paddlers who might have been on the fence waiting for the weather to see what it was. I want to be there. What a cool shot.
What a great shot. All right, guys, we got to figure it out. Planning starts tomorrow morning after we go to sleep for a little while. How we get to Greece next year.
That's right.
Marius, are you in to be our tour guide next year?
That's right.
Yeah, of course I'll be. I told you, you are already invited. I can show you around the beautiful island of Crete, not only AGIOS Nikolaos.
There we go. Still have people finishing.
Love this. And finishing strong, too.
Matt, really I think it doesn't matter if you're going to be on camera, live streamed around the world, or if it's just a handful of people who may not even know who you are on the shore. You always have to leave a little bit in the tank, so when you finish, in case anyone's taking pictures, you look really good.
Oh, of course. That's one of
these folks are doing
rules.
A great job of that.
Yeah, of course.
Look at that. I promise you, I'm sure she's a great athlete. I bet she wasn't going that hard the entire race. She is from the Adam Tischler School of Race Finishes.
Yeah.
No matter how fast or slow you went, make that last 100 yards look good.
Yeah. This is just, I don't care what you say. This is what I was doing the entire time.
And I have proof on Instagram to say so.
That's right.
That's right. Well, and Rob, to your point, these finishers, these back markers, and there's no shame in that at all. They'll go into that lagoon, and they're just one of the crowd, just like Alba and Tassos. There's very little divide between the elites and the rest of us. We're all in the same race, and it's one of the beauties of the sport. Some of these folks probably picked up the sport not long ago. Maybe this is the first big race they've done. They towed the line with some true world-class athletes and got to say that they shared the same course, same race, which is really unique.
Yeah, Adam, I think that's a great point that we haven't touched on as well, where you talked about this is an ICF race, but of course not everyone is here for the ICF points, but how many other sports can you line up on the same start line with the best in the sport, right? Like I can't go to my local gym and pick up basketball with LeBron James or anything, but I can show up here and race against the Blue Ewers and Tassos and Alba Freys of the sport. And that's just a really unique thing about our sport. And again, something we touched on earlier is just the number of junior paddlers as we watched the feed come in. More and more paddlers coming across the line are really young, and it's really cool to see on a small island how many strong junior paddlers they have going for the full 13.5K course here. Who get on the line and get the experience with the best in the sport. It's really, really cool to see.
That's absolutely right. The other thing, too, is we talked a lot about equipment and the board brands and all that kind of stuff and a lot of these new boards, but you also see a lot of competitors on, older model boards, maybe some names of boards you haven't seen before. They're having the same fun that the pros who are on the very latest and greatest are. And I think when you're racing on a course like this, the equipment doesn't matter.
As I was informed, guys, we can see the athletes now that they're almost the last athletes in the finishing line. We are about to finish in a couple more athletes.
Oh yeah, it's gone quiet out in the water.
Yeah. So guys, it was really, really nice to meeting you all three. Thank you very, very, very much for the time, for the effort, for waking up for us too early. All the incredible informations, all the company that we have this 2 hours. It was a really great for me and for the whole organization of AGIOS NIKOLAOS. It was a really cool experience for me to do it in English, because I was just spoke Greek only for a couple of minutes, and it's really nice for me. So we are almost heading out, finishing.
Yeah, this is, I think we all feel like some of these finishers now. It's been a lot of fun. A little exhausting too. There's been almost too much excitement.
So guys,
Mario, we really appreciate you having us here and allowing us to have fun with you this morning. This race was phenomenal. Huge shout out to Mihalis and the race directors and Stavros with the tech and all these amazing sponsors that brought this race together for the last 8 years. Obviously, we're jacked up. We'll be making plans to get there next year, and we hope all you who are watching will join us at this race, because it's going to be a blast again next year. And what a success!
Guys, I'm gonna thank our director Stavros, Tassos, Stelios, and Ivona, the cameraman and the camerawoman, and Sokratis, the drone operator, for this incredible live, and Antigoni, that she made all the graphics on the live stream for today's race and all 3 days of AGIOS NIKOLAOS World Cup 2024. So we are gonna close. Thank you very, very much, guys, for your time, for your effort. It was a really, really I really enjoyed meeting you. See you. I hope I can see you on Florida. It's a big dream. If you invite me, I said one more. So,
Invited.
thank you very much, guys. Have a great Sunday.
Alrighty. Bye,
Thanks.
world.
Λοιπόν, αυτά από μας εδώ από την λίμνη του Αγίου Νικολάου, όπου το τρίτο και τελευταίο αγώνισμα της φετινής διοργάνωσης, το Άγιος Νικόλαος on SUP 2024, με το παγκόσμιο κύπελο, φτάνει σιγά σιγά στο τέλος του. Να ευχαριστήσουμε πάρα πολύ τους τρεις μεγάλους χορηγούς μας που ήταν μαζί μας καθ' όλη τη διάρκεια της διοργάνωσης. Τα ξενοδοχεία AGIOS, Blue Palace και Lunda Beach, καθώς και όλους τους άλλους χορηγούς, μικρούς ή μεγάλους, αυτό δεν έχει καμία σημασία, που βοηθήσαν αυτή τη διοργάνωση για να είναι επιτυχημένη. Εμείς θα σας αφήσουμε για λίγο να μεταφερθούμε στην λίμνη του Αγίου Νικολάου, όπου θα γίνουν και οι απονομές. Σας ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank you all and say a really quick goodbye to the 2024 AGIOS NIKOLAOS on SUP World Cup here in AGIOS NIKOLAOS. Today is we're just about to finish the third and last day of our tournament with a long distance race. A couple more athletes to finish, but we're heading towards the end. I would like to thank our sponsors, our big three sponsors, the hotels AGIOS, Blue Palace and the Lunda Beach, that they were helping us with the organization this year, and all of the sponsors and people who worked with us for this event to come. I will leave you for a while, and I'll be back, as we can see right now, another finishing athlete. And I will see you all in a few minutes in the lake of AGIOS NIKOLAOS for the medal and cup ceremony. Bye-bye. Thank you.